Good morning, this is Kris Shoemaker, also known as Yehudah ben Shomeyr, and you're listening to Coffee with Kris, the time of the day where we share a cup of coffee and share a bit of the Word of God. All right, this is a new week, therefore a new Torah portion, and today's Torah portion is called Shelack. Shalak Laka. Sounds like one of those Funktown Motown songs, doesn't it? It means send on your behalf. And today's portion is taken from Numbers chapter 13, verses 1 through 20. But I just want to focus in on verse 2 and kind of expand on that this morning. So it says, send some men on your behalf. Okay, so this is God talking to Moses, giving Moses instructions. Send some men on your behalf to investigate the land of Canaan. This is the promised land, right? It's full of Canaanite squatters, and they've got to exterminate and push out these Canaanite squatters. So he says, send some men on your behalf to investigate the land of Canaan, which I am giving to Bnei Israel, which I am giving to the children of Israel. This land is a gift. I mean, a gift. I mean, I know as human beings, sometimes we give stupid, corny gifts or gifts with strings attached, but with God, He's loving, compassionate, and holy. There is no strings attached. We always want to look at the pros and cons of a situation, and there's always going to be cons because we live in a fallen world, but with God, it's all pros. You don't have to worry about the cons with God. God will take care of the cons. So He says, investigate the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. Each man you are to send will be a prince of the tribe of his father, a man for each tribe. So there was a representative, an ambassador, a Shelack. See, that's the part of the Torah portion, Shalach Lakah. Shelack means apostle. It means emissary. It means ambassador. It means one who is sent out. So there's going to be a representative from each tribe, a nobleman, somebody that's high up, somebody that has influence and power and a good reputation. They're going to be sent out as spies to spy out the land. Their job as an ambassador, as an apostle, as an emissary, is to promote the interest of the sender. Who's the sender? Ultimately, God is the sender, but yes, Moses is the sender too, but they're to promote the interest of the sender. What is the interest of the sender? To spy out the land, to look at all the negative things and to be depressed and down about it? No, absolutely not. He wants them to go out and see all of the pros, to see how spacious, how plentiful, how fruitful the land was, to prove to Bnei Israel, I'm a good God who gives good gifts. This is the land I promised to you. All you got to do is, get rid of these Canaanites. But you're not going to do it alone. I am going to be with you. As I've been with you throughout this whole journey from the Exodus, I'm going to be with you in battle. I'm going to defeat the enemy and push them out, for you. So verses 17 through 20 lists all of the senders, all of the people that are going to be sent out to spy out the land. So these men were responsible to weigh the pros and cons. But when they were to see the cons, they'd say, hey, our God is God. He's God of the universe, not just of this territory, not of this just the land or the sea or the sun or the moon. He's the God of all creation. He can take care of this. So you don't have to worry about the cons. God's promised land, He would take care of the cons on behalf of the children of Israel. That's the thing in our life. When we run into crisis situations, when we run into problems and difficulties and things that we just can't see past because it's so dark and gloomy and negative, and we're thinking, what are we going to do? What's going to happen to me? Am I going to get through this? Whether it's the loss of a job, whether it's a repossession, whether it's a sickness, an illness, cancer, what have you, whether it's the death of a loved one, we just think, how am I going to get through this? How is God going to provide? But He always does. He said that He would provide for our needs, not necessarily our wants, and we've got to differentiate between those, but He will provide for our needs. So as we know this story, for those who have been raised in church or synagogue, the spies come back and all of them give a negative report except for two, Joshua and Caleb. They're saying, look, this land is great. Yeah, it's great. But look what we have to deal with. We have to deal with these giants. We look like grasshoppers in their eyes. They're like, that's no problem. With God, there is no problem. What is your issue? This is a gift from God. It was promised. He promised He would be with us. He promised He would protect us. He promised that, He would go before us and help us defeat the enemy. So what's the problem here? But negativity is like a virus. It's like a cancer. It is contagious. It is corruptive, and it spread through the whole camp, and everybody got all all negative about it. And as a result, we know that that generation was not permitted to go into the promised land. Only Joshua and Caleb, they were going to lead the second generation into the promised land. So whenever we deal with things in our lives that have a bunch of cons, look for the pros, focus on the pros, know that God has got the cons. That's the message for you today. Thanks so much for listening. Go out there and have a great day. Shalom and God bless.